but he's square and he's right on his corners. His flexibility is amazingly good, and he's one of those that throws his head up and gets his neck out of his body where he needs to. That one's got a big future for sure.
Agree with that on the dark, and the dark one is tag 25 yellow. His pedigree would be Game Time Backslap. The Game Time is at Laird's, a board that they raised. Very impressive individual. I know myself and so many others tried to use him as much as possible, and he got some good sows, and I'm guessing going to have a very good start to season. I know that this sow is a backslap sow they like a lot. I know that there's a couple pigs on feed that look very promising for the summer, is what Ben said. So real good pair, different endpoints. Obviously the Calico's got a little more size, but this belted pig can sit and go where he needs to go, and has a very bright future. Really good pair here from Wisinger Farms. Once again, tag number, the yellow 25 is the belted pig, orange 7 is the Calico. Next up is going to be Wisinger Farms.
Wisinger brings 5 head, but we'll have 3 in the ring now. We've got tag number 71. That's going to be the belted male. That's a yellow tag 71. There's orange tag 49. That's going to be the smaller white hind-legged belted pig there. Orange tag 49, and then the blue tag 72 is the Poland spot-colored one here in the center. We'll let Nate talk these.
Sorry about that. I'll be real quick here. The little guy we'll talk about first here, the 49. That's the lead lap. What's next? I think that one there's got the target of going to about wherever you want. He's moderate, and I think can get out and rock and roll. Then the Poland barrow here, that's kind of the loud mark deal. I brought him thinking, well, the southern season, we can show him Poland spot depending on whatever you feel like. And then the bigger one there is the Game Time boar there. Game Time there at Laird's, I think that one's going to be one natural, elevated, cool-looking dude. We'll let Kelton take over from here.
Sure, Nate. It's always fun whenever we get early in the season and we're able to drop, obviously, different breed and then different size options here. I'm not going to get too big into talking ages or sizes. I think we agree industry-wide that we've kind of got to feed them as the pig tells us to, and go to the shows that they're the best fitted for, and we have a very vast age spread here. But this is a prime example. You get that orange tag 49. That is a big ribbed. I'm going to call him a chubby made one, but still's got a good look about him. He's flexible. His sternum's laid in him correctly, and that one can go for a long time. And at the same token, be able to manage however you want to. That one's built for the long haul for sure. And then we've got the other end of the spectrum. That other belted one there looks like one that you could kind of smash on if you want to. His elevation up front, cleanliness of throat latch there, and just shape reads as one that you could push if you need to. And then at the same time, he's so true in terms of his back shape and blade shape. You could do kind of what you wanted to there as well. I think a neat pig there on the Poland side of things. Again, you can kind of decide which direction you want to show him from a breed perspective, and I think you'll be in good shape either way. To me, he reads as good in his lower joints as any for that breed and that makeup there. Love his body shape, and again, maturity pattern is correct. We've got 2 more here on Wisinger. This will complete his lots here. We've got a belted one, white hind-legged one there that's orange tag number 11. And then a belted boar pig would be blue tag 29.
All right, with that said, we'll talk about the orange tag there that's kind of acting up a little bit. Again, that'd be the heavy hitter 2020, and he is my leadoff barrow. That one there, just in terms of last season, what we would have had on the heavy hitter stuff that clicked very well was on my 2020 sows. Only have 2 of them 2020s. Last year's one would have made the one that won Breeders' Cup. This mother would have been the one that made the All-Iowa champion last year. And my wife has already named this one TJ Jr. We think this one has a lot of the pieces that the barrow we had last year that turned out very, very well. So tag 11, extremely high on that one of what we think he can do. And then kind of my tricked out looking one here, tag 29. That is the heavy hitter Rusty Cage. That sow would have been shown by Delaney Runner in Iowa. Actually is a market kind of gilt that dang near won our state fair, but glad she didn't because she lays down, has pigs every time. They will have them zoo bred creature pieces, and both these here I think have the shot to do very, very, very good.
Really good information there, because honestly, last night, and this is kind of true to form for me, I didn't even look at pedigrees and had no idea that lead off was out of that 2020 sow. And if you were following anything last winter, you would have known, or I guess this last year you would have known that. I had no idea you only had 2 of those also, and I mean they've just shown up a bunch. And this pig's awfully good. Heavy structured, he's so smooth patterned and perfect in his rib cage. Again, I can see a lot of resemblance of that barrow that y'all showed there, and I can see why he got that name. But definitely look into there. That's a feeding hog for sure. The other one settled in since last night. You know, last night he was maybe a little bit kind of bunched up and just didn't want to show off, and that one cocks his head up and levels things down and goes and relaxes. And again, has those big out there pieces and that first impression look that that's going to demand a lot of attention and get you a long ways. And so again, the orange tag is 11 and the blue tag is 29 from Wisinger. We briefly mentioned there on delivery, but some of these guys are going to be heading down towards Texas and got some delivery points along the way. Make sure you're reaching out to them as time goes, but we've got to be pretty quick on delivery too. Some trailers are leaving maybe even tonight after the sale, but for sure by noon tomorrow. But we can get them basically anywhere in the country, points A to B there, but just make sure you reach out. Next up, we've got Sweky. We've got 3 head here. He's got 5 lots as well. The 3 that will start off on the Sweky lots here are going to be tag number 23. That's a yellow tag, a wide-belted male. Orange tag number 5 will be his lead off. That's a belted male as well. And then blue tag 44, another belted male.
There we go. To start off with here, the lighter skinned one, the lot 5, orange tag, that's going to be a top shelf back on our Redemption female. Redemption, that would have been a boar that we had at the house. My intention back on Rusty Cage's littermate. The wide belted, a yellow tag, 11 litter. The 11 is going to be in 8 seconds back on a best kept secret. The best kept secret sow, one of the older sows that we have at the house, but just always has a good consistent litter of pigs. And then the tag 44 there, the blue tag, that's going to be a one truth knock knock. We got a couple of those knock knock sows at home now. These would be a 218 litter knock knock, which is back on a King of the Hill sow, and some of those are starting to be very, very dominant for us in our breeding programs. So.
Well, I think 3 really good individuals here, and again, kind of true to form for what Zach normally brings out and is known for. These are so good in terms of their rib cage and just their general stoutness as they enter the ring there. This leadoff barrow there, honestly, for me, we get a good suntan and darken that pigment up, and I think it's game on. I don't know if you need to show early or late or where you need to go, but that one hit me awfully hard last night and does so again whenever he comes in now. The one that Ella has on here, 44, really good barrow in terms of proportions. I thought he was one of the more unique ones in terms of height, the shoulder, and being very short backed, and looks like an easy feeding one again. I think a lot of endpoints there. And then the one here in the center, the cage driving, tag 23, the wide belted one, maybe as flexible and truly as good in his rear column of bone as any of them. I like, again, his moderation, but still he's got a good look about him. Again, these are very consistent. I love their body shape, love their joint quality and just toe quality, and again, just feedability here. Next in, we've got Sweky's next two. We've got orange tag 64. That's going to be the blue male pig. And then yellow tag 65 will be a belted gilt.
So both these two here, both of them sired by Blowing Smoke, all rise, they're litter mates. Blowing Smoke, the boar at Platt's there, the all rise sow would have been, we call the F-Link sow. She had a good run in South Dakota for us. Won the breeding out there at the summer spotlight and then was reserve at the state fair. So she's a younger sow, only had a couple litters here. She did have one that crossbred gilt this year too that did good down in Perry, Georgia for Stanley's family, Florida family. So she's done a nice job, and I think this pair of blues, or this blue pig and belted one, both resemble kind of what she can do.
I think we're going to see a few of those blowing smokes, and these are the first ones that I've actually seen in person yet. Obviously, a boar that kind of hit the industry pretty hard, and I mean, that picture and video that Travis had posted was one of those that was very captivating, and I can see that he's going to transmit some of those same things into their offspring. They're stout-skulled and square-jawed, really unique in tying that just density, but being very elevated up front. Look like two very good feeding kind of pigs there. The gilt's a little bit greener muscled, but I think at the same time square and flexible, and looks like she'll got a really good future ahead of her. The blue bear is just a show bear when he comes in for sure. Next up, we'll have the lots from True Genetics. We've got Blake Danner here to discuss those, but True ended up bringing 3 lots here to the top shelf sale, and we're going to start with his first 2. That we've got orange. Okay, we're going to go ahead and run all 3 of them at one time. We'll have tag number 9. That's going to be the orange tag number 9. That'll be his lead off. He's a dark cross male there. Then we've got yellow tag 27. Another belted male pig, and then orange tag 47. Here's Blake to discuss True Genetics lots.
True's lead off here. The orange tag male pig would be out of a first litter gilt from Hilty. That was his lead off in his February live sale. I would tell you that if you talk to Brian and company, they're very, very happy with that litter of pigs. I know it's going to be pronounced through the rest of the sale season between other males and gilts that they have to offer. This one's certainly no slouch. The half-belted male pig in the center there is a wide awake, play it cool, like Kelton said. His mom is 3510. She's from Canoe. She was reserve Grand Guild at NJSS and Grand Guild at the Illinois State Fair for the Geyer girls. And then the bigger male pig here, yellow tag. He's a picture. His mom's a mate to Black 22 that sold at Schaefer's, that stood at Schaefer's Gold Rush. Grandma would have raised that medley barrow that racked up a bunch of Grand Champion banners there last summer. Very, very interesting pig there. From True Genetics.
Well, again, you've got firms that are known for different things, and there's one thing that's for sure that True started with the base of some phenomenal females, and was able to purchase some of one of the better ones in the country, and they're reaping the benefits of it. And you get in here; these are 3. I'm going to call them more immature and greener than some of the other ones in the sale, but their pattern and their skeleton is so right. In fact, this leadoff male pig, tag number 9, I thought he was maybe one of the very best in terms of his front end assembly, his angle to his shoulder, and more so even his backward set to his forearm and knee, and how deliberate he is in his front step. That one's long hipped, and obviously that's something that we've got to watch here lately, and I think that one definitely checks that box, and still at the same time is a show pig whenever he comes in. The half-belted one's as elevated as any of them, perfect in his lines, and I think the right kind, if you'd like to start them just square built and with a lot of upside power, awesome look from the side. And the bigger one here, tag 27, that one's probably as good ribbed as any of them. He's got a little more extra length of body, which doesn't bother me at all, because he looks like one that you could feed. It's still his lines transition right, and one of those that I think he'll get along with really good when the time comes. Again, those were the 3 lots from True Genetics. Next in, we're going to have the lots from Trace Amigos show pigs. They brought 4 lots. We'll have 2 in the ring to start off with. Again, Trace Amigos lots, his lead off is going to be orange tag number 6. That's going to be the dark cross gilt. The next one that we'll discuss here is yellow tag 24. That's the male pig in the ring.
All right, so talking for my buddies there at Trace, they were unable to make it. We've got county fair and everything else coming up, but tag 6 is the gilt that Ella's on there. She's a Snap That tricked out, which Snap That is the boar that Trace sold Laird last fall, and then the mother's a tricked out. She was grand at OYE, be 2023. So this would be obviously her first litter. And that gilt there, I think, is one that's got a very popular pedigree. It ties back in with their boar and puts some of their program on the top side of it. But looks like one that's going to feed for a good while. Market breeding, I know some of these gilts here today, if you've got a market show, I think they could work, or breeding on down the way. If you get into February or March, I think she kind of looks like that type and kind.
Yeah, I thought she hit me last night as one of those very versatile kind of a gilts there that if you're looking to go early or jackpot or obviously I think she could be extremely competitive Breeders' Cup time. And then just think about her value from a pedigree standpoint on a resale side of things. You could get some mileage in the show ring and then get back 3 or 4 fold what you spend on her just on pedigree alone, but her phenotype is going to carry her for sure. And then the boar pig, again, that's tag number 24.
Yeah, and tag 24 is a 4-litter. He's a trick daddy, stay classy. That stay classy sow is actually missing Link's littermate. And then this tag 24, yellow tag 24 pig is full sib and blood to Magic Man, which they sold to Laird's, I think, this spring. So I think that pig's got some versatility on where you want to show and where you want to feed him. As Kelton said earlier, we're not real sure. You just feed the pigs and show them where you need to show, because if you guess one way, it'll go the other way. But that pig looks like he's going to feed into wherever you want to go. And just feed him, and looks like one that's going to maintain squareness, and you'll be able to push on him or sit on him, and he looks like that. Good pedigree in that tag 24. So lot 6 is the gilt, lot 24 is the boar pig.
Next up, we have the final 2 of Trace Amigos' lots. We've got tag number 45. That's going to tag 45. That's going to be the boar pig. Tag 66, yellow tag 66 is the loud marked one there, a dark cross barrow.
So Cade's on the orange tag. This is 45. 45 is actually a littermate to the tag 6 gilt. That would be a Snap That tricked out, which Snap That is the boar that they sold Laird's last fall. And then tricked out would be the grand at OYE 2023. So she has had a couple litters. I was wrong on that. I read the year wrong. But that bear there, I think, is one that I'm not sure who did the sale order, but those guys. This pig here is one that I like quite well. He's long enough about his front end. He looks like one that's going to feed. He's strong on his front foot. Looks like a hog that you can push on and jam on, and still going to maintain some muscle and heaviness of structure.
I was kind of the same way with you, and I love that leadoff gilt there, but obviously male pig here that hit me hard whenever he came in. Same deal, his proportions and just balance is incredibly good. I think, again, kind of can do whatever you want to do. And for me, again, we talk about ones that hit the ring. That looks like a Trace pig whenever he comes in. It's his skull shape and where he blends from his forerib and his shoulder and just rib cage, his length of body is right to be a feedable one. Again, I don't get too much into sale order, but that one's pretty high on my list.
Totally agree. Tag 66 is the other pig that Ella's got there. That'd be yellow tag 66. This painted up barrow. He's a 7-litter. He's a heavy hitter. Spread the word. Obviously, heavy hitters had some crops out. Those pigs have fed extremely well. Spread the word deal has been good for Trace. That's a boar that we got off Kelton there as a mature, and those guys benefited very, very well with that boar, winning Tulsa and quite a few other shows. They've got some sows back the way. That hog looks like kind of a meat and potatoes kind of a barrow that's got some extra shape, got some extra muscle, and I think that'll work to his advantage because that pig on down the way, it's maybe harder to feed shape at times, and he's still got a very attractive kind of a look in that painted up barrow.
Yeah, that one hit me again. It was one of those that might make you look like a hero there in the end because, again, his loin shape is so good, obviously gorgeous colored, and is going to hit you early. His joints are clean, his feet are right, his maturity pattern's correct. Obviously have a little tie there on the spread the word side, and he looks like a traditional one there, but got some just a little bit stouter and further out there pieces with the heavy hitter side. That's going to be a good pig. I'd put that one on feed with a lot of confidence there.
So once again, those are the final two tray slots would be orange tag 45 that Cade's on and Ella's on yellow tag 66. Those are Trace Amigos 4 lots. Just a reminder for everybody tuning in, these pigs are going to be, other than our 2 South friends, Goss Livestock and Lackey, all the pigs will be eligible this year. I guess we really haven't let it out, but we got a few new breeders in Breeders' Cup sale, and all of these pigs will be eligible, minus our South friends, Goss and Lackey, just Midwestern breeders in that, but that is an added bonus there. Next in is going to be Platt show pigs.
We've got two entries here that Travis and his crew brought. The white one there is going to be their lead off. That's tag 10, and then the blue gilt will be orange tag 28.
So just to talk about the pedigrees, and then Kelton can describe them. Cade's on the solid white barrow. That is tag number 10. He's solid white, so he should classify Yorkshire without any kind of issue. He's a Shake the Frost tricked out. Shake the Frost is the top shelf son we bought from Keplinger last year at PT. This would be obviously the very first litter of those we got to get. And the tricked out sow is one that our youngest boy showed there at Perry a couple years ago. Was reserve pure influence from Kilmer, so it ties in some white stuff that's worked extremely well.
The white pig was the first pig I saw yesterday, so it's at the precedent high, and I don't guess it would really take me to describe him for a very long time. And I was going to say that if I'm ever judging one and one enters the ring like that, he's winning. It really doesn't matter what else is there, but I don't think it matters if I'm judging. That one's just look and presence and squareness. And honestly, he was one of those. I guess I'm always one of the guys. If I see one that hits me that hard, I'm trying to break him down and figure out what's wrong with him. I got up out of the seat, he came right at me, and he's as big chested and as square in his sternum and his blade as any, and still has that killer look. That's an incredible individual there. And again, there's not a blue spot on him at all right now. Take care of that, and he's easily in Yorkshire in our part of the country. Then we've got orange tag 28, the blue gilt.
Tag 28 that Brantley's on is the blue gilt. This would be our very first litter of canoes. Canoe would be the boar that we bought in partnership with Hartzell last year at the opener for $80,000 from Knauf. He's a turn and trick son. Breeders around ringside and others, that was kind of the breeding boar, I think, of one of the so many good boars that sold last fall, and he had a lot of breeding value. We bred this female. This is another Kilmer gilt. Our good buddy Kilmer always provides good females that work for us, and this is her second parity. We've got 2 littermate males next. So pedigree reads would be Canoe, Pat this, and then this, like I said, is her second litter, this sow. Her first litter has a gilt that's been very successful in Minnesota.
We've talked about already today, and then watching some of the online sales and previews. I'm actually kind of already worn out with everybody talking about how it's early and we're buying pigs and we're selling pigs. Let's get over that and get into it. And what is exciting, though, at the first sale, whether it's in July or August or September, or if we're in the winter months, is seeing what boars are going to do and genetics are surfacing and what's going to work. And this canoe deal looks like it's going to be the real deal. And we're going to see some more here today. This gilt to me is one of those, again, you can do lots of things with. I thought she looked ahead of her blade. She's as immature as any of them, and then from there back, she's as stout as any. And so, again, looks like a show gilt, a jackpot gilt, but looks like she'd be there in the long haul as well.
So once again, Platt show pigs, 28, light cross gilt, orange tag, lot 10, blue, solid white crossbred boar.
Got two more here from Travis, Platt Show Pigs. We've got tag number 48. That's going to be a blue tag, light cross barrow, and then orange tag 70, another light cross blue barrow.
Okay, these are going to be littermates of the gilt we just talked about. They're traditionally the ugliest notch, one litters, but they're the first litter born. But one litters would be, as we just talked, canoes, the canal turn and trick son that we like the pigs the way they look. And then the mother would be a Pat This gilt from Kilmer's that her last litter and her first litter has the Prinz gilt that's been very successful in Minnesota. They're another light cross gilt. Brantley's on orange tag 70, Cade's on blue tag 48.
Obviously, littermate's there to the gilt and offers a lot of the same character, same blade shape, and just ruggedness that they have to their skeleton. These two are just a little bit different from each other. Blue tag 48 looks like he probably took to the sow and the feed bucket the fastest, and will be one of those that will be easy to feed and won't require just a whole lot of intake there. Rib cage is huge, feet and legs are big and very, very flexible. The other one's a little bit greener, probably a little bit tighter throated, and needs to come with just a notch more power behind. But with that kind of, again, back shape and just presence that he has from a stoutness perspective, that'll definitely come. But two blue barrows obviously can fit in that breed there, whatever show we go to. That'd be blue tag 48 and then orange tag 70.
Next up would be Danner Livestock.
As we're working Blake back over, he brought a really good 6 of them here, and we're going to start with the 2 red ones. Obviously, a firm that is known for all breeds, but the first thing that comes to mind for me is their history in the red breed, and always making them very, very competitive there. But we'll discuss them through. Again, this is Danner Livestock with his first 2 lots. It's going to be orange tag 68 and yellow tag 69.
We got a pair of mates here, and their mom would be a first litter gilt. More importantly, she'd be a litter mate to the champion red bear there at Dallas this past fall, and the champion red bear at Wisconsin State Fair, showed by a Kronberg sister. And grandma of that sow would be actually Stay in Your Lane's litter mate sister, bred boar that's been a dominant force within that breed. A pair of pigs that differ a lot, but I think they have a really good upside. I've had a lot of text in terms of end dates. You know, these pigs could get there to Phoenix. Definitely hang around till Denver, in my opinion, too.
Again, a little bit different in terms of where they sit today, but I think both of them offer that same amount of quality, look, and presence. And again, I think one of the reasons that the Danner Crew's assembled red ones that work is they understand their maturity and maybe understand how they need to be built early. I know Blake was very high on these two. The darker pigmented one here is one that again is head carriage, and where his neck comes out of his body, I think is awesome. And then he ties that with a really round rib cage, clean jointed and strong footed. I think that's a really good prospect. This other one is just a man coming at you in terms of his chest and his blade. Transitions there back. All of his transitional points read right for a stout, rugged, and bold one. Normally they get a little piecier than what this one does, and he does that very, very correctly. Again, 2 really good red prospects here. I guess they're the only red ones we have in the sale tonight, and again, I think they'll be very competitive. Tag 68 is the lighter colored one. That's the orange tag 68. The dark pigmented one is yellow tag 69. Okay, next up, a pair of crossbreds. We've got a blue tag. Calico is going to be tag 46, and then littermate gilts is tag 26, yellow tag belted gilt.
Yeah, I would say within Danner Livestock standpoint of building crossbreds, we've been progressive and fast-paced, and I would say that's because it's my ability to buy gilts. I bought this one's mother from Cook's last spring. She'd be a litter mate to Woodruff's Grand Overall Market Gilt at Exarban. I think that gilt also won her class at Iowa State Fair. Grandma on the backside of that would be a littermate to Harvey's barrow that was reserve cross and 4th overall barrow at the Indiana State Fair. This pair might be a shot more cantankerous, but I tell you, look in because I know just based off of how this snapback deal is going to be, I'm very, very excited, and I know everybody says that, but I think it's going to be very, very good.
Yeah, I know we're in a preview and we're supposed to brag on pigs, but it's pretty easy on the calico there. Whenever he came in last night, he was another one that kind of got me up out of the chair, and that's probably where I like him to be from a muscle and shape perspective whenever we start them, and then again one of those that is so flexible and comfortable in his skeleton. I'm not going to ever say he's a great big framed one, and he gives me the versatility, the look that he's got versatility as far as a feeding window. But he's also one of those that has his, that width between his eyes and his jaw and his blade. You could do whatever you wanted to with that guy. There, the belted gilt is one of those that just follows suit, but maybe comes in one of those that I think you could push on and get after it. And I just think she's as genuine as anything that we have in there. Honestly, we're fixing to see a set of gilts that offer a lot of quality, both in the show ring and then also breeding value. But she's got 2 stars next to her on my preview from last night. So again, a pair of really, really good ones there that Danner brought. Tag 46 is the calico male, and tag 26 is the belted gilt. Next in, we've got the final 2 lots here from Danner Livestock. We've got the chromed up male would be blue tag number 8. That's going to be their leadoff. And then the spot male is tag 67.
This spotted male pig, honestly, he probably took the trip a little harder than I would prefer, but a male pig that's coming around and doing what he needs to. And from our program, our spots that are stereotypically the highest quality at the end really resemble this one in terms of type and kind. His mom would have been reserve at Nail. She would have been reserve AOB gilt there at Georgia National. More importantly, the grandma there has been one of our pedestal spotted sows. She would have been champion there at the Indiana State Fair for Peyton Jones. Been very successful in terms of getting pigs to the backdrop within our program. This spotted up male pig, I'll be frank with you, one that I love, and his mom's a Judgment Day back on bail money moolah, as good as it gets sow. The bail money sow would have cost S squared $25,000 there. Souza would have showed her at Phoenix. She'd have been 4th overall gilt, and one that was very, very fun all her life. Our crew actually started with her, and then we sent her out there to Arizona. The Judgment Day mama of that pig would have won her class at every major we would have taken her to for us. She would have won her class at Expo, Louisville, won that Families County Fair, and then went on and was a class winner at Indiana, Kansas City, and Nail. That's a very long shelf life and career for a show gilt, and one that was always right in the hunt. Then again, he's a snapback, and like I've said, for those of you that don't know snapback, he's a littermate to the Grand Gilt at Expo that I know people were pretty fond of. More importantly, littermate brother was their champion there at Louisville, and was a very, very good show pig all of his life.
We'll discuss them in the same order that Blake did. We'll start with that spot, and honestly, one that I didn't pay attention good enough last night because we were kind of had other things on our mind, honestly. And this one comes in the ring, and I love his look, and again, maturity pattern. Again, one of those things. Blake's done such a phenomenal job, and Chris and Sue and the crew there of putting together multiple breeds that feed, and they study what they need to look like. And to me, that one reads immature enough, long enough muscled, and the correct kind of muscle texture to work in the end, and they're the spotted breed. And honestly, we were kind of talking last night, and I'll make fun of Blake just a little bit. He's got every one of these on Snapchat, and I saw his video this morning. That pig looked really good on that video, and he does when he comes in the ring. And then a one that doesn't need just a whole lot of discussion. I think his quality is pretty apparent there on the crossbred male pig here. He is one, though. I haven't seen a Snapchat or a picture online that looks as good as he does in person. So hopefully there's enough people in the crowd to get here to to admire that one and to appreciate his quality. But I can tell you right here visually, that's about as good as it gets for a baby pig. His pin set is the biggest one in the sale out today. And then he is stout structured and flexible, and again, awesome skull shape. And again, we don't know how to talk her along on that one. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of friends. Next up, we've got Goss Livestock. We've got my buddy Blake here to discuss his forehead. We'll start with his leadoff, tag number 3, and that male pig's littermate, tag number 48. Oh, sorry, 43. 3 and 43.
Well, first and foremost, it's our first time being at the top shelf sale with consignments. We're very lucky and very thankful to be here. Happy to be here. I think it's a tremendous set of pigs throughout the barn. We'll talk here about these pair of mates, or 26 litters. The one L is on would be tag number 3, 26-1. This other one, there'd be litter mates, so they are heavy hitter, hidden treasure, rock star. Their mom would have raised our $50,000 lead off at Lackey sale last year. That stands there at Colson's by the name of Drumroll. And then in her second litter, she'd had the pig we sold at Boble's sale that ended up winning his target show yesterday. It's a young sow. This will be her third litter. People have asked about the litter of pigs as a whole in their entirety. There's 6 males in this litter, and they are very dense and stout and mobile. I think this is a young generator around the farm I'm excited to build around.
I was headed to the airport yesterday, and probably shouldn't be scrolling through Facebook while I was headed to the airport, but I did, and this Lot 3's picture popped up, and I was already excited to come up here, and that one got me anxious to see what all the offering was, and he didn't disappoint there as well, and when he got here, and again, everybody can do what they want to with them, and we used to say, well, is that one going to be barrow money or boar money, and I think that's all a moot point now these days anyway. That one will win barrow shows, but that one needs to be a boar in my estimation. That one's as stout as you could ever make one. Obviously, I have a generating sow that already has a boar and a boar stud that's as impressive phenotypically as you could have, and I think it's got a good future ahead of him. Look at the pictures, study this video, call Blake, and again, we don't have to talk a long time. If that one doesn't have very many friends, then I'm definitely seeing things very, very wrong. The tag 43 is one of those that probably reads a little more barrow looking to me, and still at the same time, that doesn't mean that he's not just as stout, just as robust and awesome in his rib. But he's one of those that maybe has just a little crisper shape even about him. Still joint quality is awesome. I think their feet and legs are just mainly their toe quality is extremely good. And again, they're going to be as stout-legged, as heavy-duty as any of them. And then obviously, Goss knows what it takes to win. These are incredible. Next up, we'll have the final 2 of Goss Livestock. We've got a belted one, tag number 21, and then a cheetah marked calico one here. It'll be tag number 63.
So we'll start here with one cage drive, and this belted barrow is a cotton nap and intentional. She's a young gilt that had a very good show career, Northwest Oklahoma. And then I was in Georgia watching the show, and I thought these cotton napins, man, they were all towards the top, and I wanted to use that boar a good deal. Willie always told me that we need to use him, and honestly, we need to use him more. We really like that pig in terms of trying to be competitive in a barrow ring, head shape, and foot quality, and chest, and balance. I think that sow's young. This is her first litter. But, man, I really like what that hog's doing in his maturity. The calico would be a 20 litter. That is a heavy hitter roll call nomad. So the mom would have been reserve the year that Troy judged Arizona National in the gilt show. And then his grandma would be actually the mom of the pig that I weighed out at OYE that Anna Frankie had. Been a really, really good sow family for us. I'm excited. All these that we brought here, besides these 2, are all out of gilt litters. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'd say of the group that Blake brought, or really against any contemporaries there, that Belton was an absolute show pony. When he gets up and he actually last night didn't even have anybody driving him. He cocked his head up and went across the ring, and that's the one that will demand some attention there. He's got the look, presence, and maturity pattern. Again, foot quality, joint quality, flexibility, and just his skeletal build is unprecedented, I'd say, or you just couldn't get any better than that. The Calico, again, matches him from a look perspective, maybe even just that much stouter, really crisp about his edge and just square in his build. He may take a little bit of offense to that, but that looks like an Okie kind of a pig right there. And he comes in the ring and he'll get in there. And to me, it looks like you could feed him for as long as you want and do what you want to with him. Really neat color pattern for me, and one of those that's gonna get along extremely good. Again, these are Blake Goss's Goss Livestock's final 2 lots. Orange tag 21 is the belt. Yellow tag 63 would be the Calico. Next up, we've got a pair of gilts consigned by Lackey Livestock. We're going to have Blake back and discuss those. Jason was judging a show in Ohio yesterday and hasn't made it over here yet. But again, we've got 2 gilts by Lackey Livestock. Orange tag number 4 will be the belted gilt, and that's their lead off. And yellow tag 22 is the sandy colored calico gilt there that Blake will discuss.
Yeah, and I would say coming from Jason, they're clipped and a little more whip broke than normal, so that should just show you his passion and posture for this pair that he sent up north. The Calico, she would be out of a first litter gilt that Jason just said is really just getting rolling here. One that's definitely sporty from the side, and he's ready to build around her mom. More importantly, this belted one, she would have a backdrop license 96.6 sow. She raised the champion dark there at San Antonio 2 years ago. And anybody that dips into the details within Lackey's program knows just how important that belt or that sow is for them. And he's very, very fond of this belted gilt. I've never actually had him tell me, hey, we need to get that gilt videoed so I can send it to a couple guys. Hey, that was very, very important yesterday for Jason while he was judging.
Well, one of my longest term and best friends there is Jason, and lived together in college. And not many people actually know that, but obviously everybody knows how competitive they are, and for him to promote one or even to rag on one is obviously very rare. But that belted gilt yesterday, whenever he was in, or last night when he was in, or she was in, excuse me, Troy kind of raised his eyebrows and said, "Hey, this thing is really, really good," and he's right. That one's I probably don't discuss in terms of just stoutness of tail root as much as some, but that one's got a huge tail, and at the same time, big limbed and loose jointed. I like her muscle texture. Again, one of those that, like Travis talked about, could be a market gilt how you fed her. She'll be a breeding gilt there in the end. She needs to be a sow for sure once she's done with the show ring. The sandy color gilt's a little more immature. She looks like she lost the fight last night there in the pens, but that gilt's got a lot of feedability there for sure. Correct maturity pattern, and for a little skinny necked one, she's still really round and true about her body. She just needs to get on feed and develop just a bit more. But 2 really good gilts there by Lackey Livestock. The lead off is orange tag 4, the belted one. The sandy colored one is tag 22. Okay, as we kind of transition in, we're going to move to Troy's lots, or Team Sloan's lots here, and we'll have Troy to discuss those. There, we'll kind of bring them in pairs. I think we've got a few trios here and keep things organized. But a phenomenal set, and obviously Troy organizing this and having it is an incredible facility that we have here, and having the first summer edition top shelf. I knew this stock was going to be good, and he told me last night there that we started with 140 and we're down to 40. This guy culls hard and does things that other guys in the industry don't do, and I don't know if buyers really understand, recognize, or appreciate. That's why when they bring them out, they're so good, because they've already weeded them through and got the cream here. But the first 2 that we're going to discuss are in the ring here is going to be orange tag 37. That's the boar pig. And then yellow tag 59 is the belted gilt.
Well, thanks, Kelton, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Very, very excited. I know it sounds like a broken record, but a very, very good set of pigs, and I don't say that often, and I don't mean necessarily ours. I'm talking about everybody's. Very, very pleased with the quality that we have here. I thought they looked good last night as a set, but they come back in the ring this morning, and they're that much better. And I know Kelton and other breeders have said the same. We start with a pair of these that would be 167 litters, and I know a lot of those you guys tuning in are going to be more on tags, but this 167 litter has been very, very good. They're out of Canoe. These guys up here earlier talked a little bit about it. Travis and Kelton, that was bar none my favorite boar pig that we saw last fall. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I thought that pig was very, very good. We bred sows to him. We're very pleased with him. This next round, we're using him very, very hard. Travis is going to send me as much as he possibly can, or hopefully, because I like them pigs a good deal moving forward. 59 is the gilt there, and I think one that just has unlimited shelf life in terms of where you want to go with her. This sow's been very good. She come from Hilty. We bought her as an open there in one of his sow sales a couple seasons ago. The mate barrow there maybe doesn't show off quite as well. I'm not going to tell you he comes with maybe just as many bells and whistles as some. I think that is a very, very good feeding pig, though, that is very good in terms of his build, very good in terms of his structure. This sow's been awesome. She would have had the 10th overall crossbred at OIE there, I guess this year back in March, and that pig I thought was just very, very unique. So again, sow comes from Hilty. They're out of Canoe. I'll let Kelton kind of tell you his thoughts.
Again, we'll talk about it, and Troy brought as many gilts as anybody, obviously, here, but this gilt hit me hard. It was one of those that I remembered last night enter the ring. Again, just stoutness of skull and head and jaw, and still maybe as tall-fronted and elevated up front. It looks like her neck actually ties on the middle of her blade. It comes out so high, and yet at the same time, her frame size and just chest and blade and rib read is one that, again, you can do a lot of things with. Just kind of not divulging my notes, but saying what I wrote. I guess I'm kind of telling the story up here. This other barrow or boar pig there that's in the ring, tag 37. He was one that I wrote last night not to let him slip by. We kind of went through all the lots there, and I went back and looked, and I said, that's one of those. Again, I've said it on a couple other pigs here, but I think that's one that you might look like a hero there in the end once you get that one scooped up. His rib shape and just cage is so true and consistent. That one's joint quality is good. I like his maturity. I like his muscle texture. He needs to hair up, and he just needs to mature just a bit. But that one's going to be really, really good in the end.
Those, again, following along, that would have been 37 orange tag, crossbred boar. The gilt would have been 59 yellow tag there. Both litter mates, 167 litter.
Next in, a pair of gilts. We've got yellow tag is 14. That's going to be the belted gilt. And then tag 75, orange tag 75 is going to be the blue gilt.
Again, make the trip to Hilty's there once a year to try to buy some females, and they've been very good for us. This 163, this blue gilt, the orange tag there that Ashley's on is a result of one of those opens that we would have bought that would have been a no huddle, never before. I absolutely love that gilt. Had just a little bit of tough times maybe getting her going, but this second litter that she had I think is awfully, awfully good. That gilt would be a Glory Days, and anybody that's fed one of those knows they feed incredibly well. Body, rib, flesh, and just chub. Feedability is always very good. I'll be honest, we've been hand feeding these, and that gilt probably is a little skinnier bellied today, just because we probably haven't given her as much pig food as she would eat. But I don't see that being an issue long term. I think that gilt has a bright future. The belted gilt is certainly a sale highlight in my opinion, and Cade's going to try to gather her up here on the mud stick. I think she's very high in the sale order. I guess she would be tag 14. And those of you guys following along, we're going to sell them in order tonight. That's a 159, and anybody that's checked our set out, I would sure think has a 159 down or even multiple ones. A gilt heavy litter, and like Kelton said, we're going to sell probably more gilts than maybe is popular this time of year. Ultimately, when push come to shove, we were going to offer our best pigs regardless of sex. I absolutely love that 14. I think that sow line has been very, very good. That sow would have made the 3rd overall crossbred, or I guess 3rd overall barrow in general there at the Missouri State Fair last summer. The grandma would be the Raven sow that's done a very, very good job for us. So without a doubt, a sale highlight there, in my opinion, one of the better gilts in this set. We'll see what Kelton says.
Well, Troy mentions that selling gilts this time of year maybe isn't popular, and yeah, we probably gravitate towards the barrow side, but I would say it's not popular because gilts like this aren't usually let loose, and we kind of concentrate on the barrow deal and sack these up or keep these hoarded up, and but at the same time, like we've talked about, ranging from Denver, and then but more importantly, Breeders' Cup, and then on to the Southwest Majors or just prospect shows or whatnot. I would say these gilts should have as much value, and then the sow possibilities there. Like I say, that belted gilt, as he bragged on there, was one of those that I marked and starred and circled. Her rib cage and then just range of motion and comfort level is as good as you could ever offer there, and still at the same time looks like a lady when she enters the ring. The blue one was one of those that I thought took an awesome picture, and I anticipated to see here. I would kind of echo what Troy said. It looks like she needs to maybe soften and deepen there in her lower rib and flank. But just one of those that as she matures, I think will do that. She's round-bodied, she's big-chested, and has got a great presence about her. Obviously, most of those shows offer a blue division, and I'd say that she could kind of walk through there, but then be very competitive there in the end against the belts as well. She's tagged 75, and then the belted one was tagged 14. Next up, we've got a couple breed pegs here, a gilt, a Chester gilt that's going to be tagged 19, and then a spot barrow peg will be tagged 52.
Try to speed things up just a little bit. I know me and Kelton can get a little long-winded. Try to spend time where we need to at the same time. The spotted male pig would actually be out of the same sow as Celsius there at upper hand. We had a litter of those stopwatches this time, another boar that's also at upper hand, and we're breeding back to him very, very hard as we move forward. Again, that's tag 52. That particular sow as a show gilt would have been 5th overall spot at the World Pork Expo there a couple seasons ago. Again, the mother is Celsius and doing a very good job. A big litter, and you won't see a ton of them in the sale, but like Kelton said, we culled very, very hard, and at the same time, the ones that maybe didn't make the sale were certainly no slouches. A very, very good litter there. Just felt like he was the best male pig in that particular litter. The Chester gilt, again, another sale highlight in my opinion. The Chester thing has been just phenomenal for us, whether it's dumb luck or skill or whatever it may be. Very fortunate to grab several of those banners over the last few seasons. That's tag 19. That would be out of a first litter gilt that would have come out of the litter of the year there. For those of you guys that followed the Pig Planet, every single pig in that particular litter would have won a show, and as also included Friction, the boar there at upper hand. So I'll let Kelton kind of tell you his thoughts there. I can promise you without a doubt, maybe it sounds arrogant or whatever you want to call it, that's as good of a pedigree from a Chester perspective as you can find anywhere in the country. I think that gilt's got a very, very high ceiling.
We'll just kind of start again in the order that Troy discussed them. The spot comes in, and I didn't know any of the litter history there or whatnot, but I knew he would be one of the standouts in any litter that he was in. And just as we discussed, in that breed in particular, I think for me personally, it's been one of the hardest ones to get pigs to feed and to work. And I think we've got to make sure that their muscle is laid on their skeleton in the fashion that this spotted male pig is. With that kind of a maturity pattern, as he just relaxes and softens, that's going to be a very, very competitive one. It looks like he feeds into Denver just as perfect as any of them that we've seen from a size perspective, but could go lots of different ways. Again, we could talk forever. We could get long-winded on this Chester gilt. She's just quite simply about as good as you can make. And honestly, last night, and I don't say that just tongue-in-cheek, we were sitting there and kind of a group of us kind of cuddled around that table. Normally I don't perk up when a Chester gilt enters the ring, and that one definitely did it for me. I guess if you're going to try to win shows, if you're putting a sow together or trying to get some resale value, whatever you're doing, if you're interested in a Chester, tag 19 needs to be on the list. Tag 52 is the spot male pig, and again, we'll roll into the next pair. Next, we got a pair of Chester prospects here. We've got tag 57. That's going to be the orange tag. I think we've got these. They're both boar pigs here. Tag Oh, I'm one off. Yeah, tag 78 is the orange tag, boar pig, and yellow tag 54 is another Chester male.
Well, again, comes from that first litter gilt that would be a littermate to Friction, and like I said earlier, show pig, or Pig Planet, litter of the year, and I know some people maybe don't focus on that or whatever, but that litter was incredible, and I truly mean that. We were fortunate to get a couple of those littermate sisters back, and this would be the first result of that. Again, to follow that Chester gilt like Kelton just talked about, sometimes maybe you lose focus and she sticks in your mind. I've told everybody the last couple weeks that have asked what we have for Chesters, I'd stay hooked up and I'd stay focused. I would not be scared to feed your second pick in this particular litter, whether it be a gilt or boar pig or whatever it may be. Again, I have a ton of faith in this pedigree. The Fresh Prince deal there at Crossroads has been just absolutely incredible. We bred most of our summer litters back to him, to be honest, because we were very pleased with our spring pigs. This pair comes in here, and I'll let Kelton kind of tell you his thoughts. Differ probably just a bit, and maybe where they need to be fed or how they need to be fed, I guess, if you will, but I think both have a bright future.
Yeah, and how many times have we gone through and we study and we get there and we decide which one we like the most and we get locked in, and then we hear the littermate that actually ends up out feeding, and that's just when they're out of litters this deep. And if there's a gilt that looked like that and then male pigs here, I'd be tuning in. The one that Ashley has is maybe just a little bit more progressed from a maturity or maybe a flesh perspective today, probably just even that much more massive, but at the same time extremely flexible, and one of those that looks like you could handle him however you wanted to from a feed bucket perspective. Tag 78 there that Ashley's on now is maybe a little bit greener and more immature and from a muscle perspective, but still chest reach true. I absolutely love his elevation up front. His proportionality is incredibly good, and that pig's going to feed exceptionally well. Again, kind of pick which kind you like or what kind you're the most comfortable feeding, but Chester litters are really any breed don't come this deep. I'd say just grab on if you're interested in a Chester prospect.
Again, orange tag 78, yellow tag 54. For those of you guys tuning in, littermate Chester male pigs there.
Another pair of Chesters out of the 21 litter come in next. We've got a male pig, tag number 15, and then a gilt orange tag 57.
Well, again, we've talked a lot about this Chester litter, and I'll kind of let Kelton kind of break them down and dip into the details and really tell you the differences that he sees. As much as I like the littermate gilt we've already seen, I actually think this particular littermate gilt here has some advantages over her in terms of big ring, in terms of getting there, and when it's all said and done, maybe she's the better big one. I'll let the buyers kind of decide that. I think that's a big-time box checker there, though, in my opinion. 15 doesn't cooperate the best, and hopefully Ashley can gather him up here, because this is without a doubt one of the best pigs in the sale, in my particular opinion. I don't know if anybody's boar shopping or barrow shopping, but in a breed right now that, man, it's tough to find boars to use. That one comes from an incredible litter, an incredible story. He's got the big bones and the neat look and the hard-to-make kind of stuff, if you will. Probably needs to relax a little bit, and because he's not whip broke and because he chases the bottle just a little harder than maybe ideal, maybe throws off his top line just a bit from time to time. I absolutely love this pair of Chesters. Like I said, the Chester thing's been incredibly good for us over the years, particularly the last few seasons. I think this represents exactly what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, again, to conclude that litter and to echo what Troy said, we didn't even discuss this litter of pigs or really any pigs at all last night, and I thought that was a good way to handle it because we could kind of come in here fresh. And I was going to say the same thing on the gilt. That one gets there in the end, and even tied up with the other gilt that hits you so hard. Her just softness of body and just general stoutness might actually be the choice of whoever's sorting that there. And then again, we didn't share notes. We didn't talk about anything. I was already going to say that if we're hunting boars out of a deep litter, that tag 15 needs to be on the list there for sure. Again, a little bit more cantankerous on the stick, or maybe not trained quite as much as those others, but you get a good glimpse of that one. Very, very unique and very cool in terms of his proportionality, just his balance, and then he is the biggest footed and the biggest armed of all those male pigs there, and still has his look. He resembles that past gilt the most to me from just a look and presence perspective, but maybe actually just a little shorter backed, and one of those that is obviously going to have a lot of friends, I would hope.
Yeah, for sure. A pair of Chester males there again. I know it sounds like a broken record. We repeat some of this stuff, but want to make it very clear to those of you guys tuning in online. Chester white gilt there that would have just came through would have been tag 57. The male pig would have been 15.
Transition breeds here, and we've got a crossbred male pig that is orange tag 53, and then the spotted gilt is tag 60.
We can start with that 56, the dark or the mostly black pig there, if you will, or the sock pig. Another one of those trick daddies, and I can't say enough about what that boar's done for us here at our place. They're good baby pigs, and I think everybody knows that. But at the same time, the ones out and about that we've got for summer shows and state fairs have fed very, very well. They're making good big ones, and I know sometimes that term can get thrown around just a little bit loosely. That sow line's been just absolutely incredible for us. Again, another pig there that I think is going to make a very good big one. The spot gilt again has got a little bit of a spot attitude. I don't know how many spot gilt buyers that we'll have tuning in. I know sometimes maybe that's not as popular this time of year maybe as it is in the spring. I absolutely love that gilt though. I think in terms of the spot gilts that we're offering, she might be the best just in terms of combining some stoutness, some ribs, some mass. I think she's going to feed incredibly well. That sow would have been shown by the Gower crew there a couple seasons ago and come from Armstrong, so a little different blood there on the bottom side. She's a trick daddy, and I think without a doubt everyone would agree the good elite kind of trick daddies have been the absolute best this summer. And I know maybe there's been a little bit of sort, but we've already done the sorting for you. I think this big daddy thing, is going to be very good on the spot side of things on the top end.
Yeah, and I think too many times, again, everybody's got their theory and things that they gravitate to, but it seems like pig sale time we usually kind of get into the cute little tricked out little ones that might always kind of stay that direction. And this black one, just as Troy said, looks like one of those that's going to make a big enough one that's going to be just out. He's just going to be able to outpower and outmass everything, and yet at the same time he may be as comfortable scaling it as any of them that we have in the offering today there. The spot gilt there again reads so dense and so good about her body and her bone work, and she's soft made but still at the same time got shape and got squareness. Obviously Troy likes her quite a bit, and I'd definitely take his word on her.
Again, those of you guys tuning in, spot gilt would have been 60. The socked boar pig crossbred there would have been 53.
Next up, we've got a littermate spot boar pig here, which will be tag 50, and then a belted crossbred boar pig will be yellow tag 76.
Well, again, talked about the spot pedigree there as the gilt came through, and again, maybe not as whip broke as some, but for those of you guys looking for Denver's or Fort Worth or San Antonio, whatever it may be, if you're looking for a good purebred barra, please trust me when I say this 50 is as good as I think we've made this time. I think an incredibly high ceiling, offers far reaching pieces, but at the same time does it in a balanced kind of proportional fashion, particularly from the side. I think he's built like a rocket ship, and I know there is no doubt in my mind that gilt there that came from Geyers, originally Armstrong, I guess, if you will, they're going to feed very well. And I think, I joke with some of my buddies, we kind of throw that term around in terms of they'll feed maybe a little loosely. There's no doubt in my mind, though, that pig there is going to feed very well, and for a spot probably isn't going to require much pig food. The crossbred would be a 158 litter, and I know that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but the mom there would have originated from Hilty. We actually own her with our good buddy Tony Moore there out in Pennsylvania, a good buddy of ours that I've got to know. And I told Tony the other day, I said, look, this pig may not be as far-reaching as some, but I'd take a ton of them like him. I think he's a good feeding pig that's balanced, correct, square built, really good on his feet and legs. That pig would be a testify, and that's the Bobo boar there at Laird's. And honestly, and I'm not here to tell anybody their breeding decisions, but those testifies have been very good here and are going to make good big ones. I can promise you probably two of our best Midwest State Fair pigs are out of him, and we're going to see a few more here. He would be a testify back on that Hilty sow that would have been a tricked out.
Again, I actually came to Troy last night after the little preview, ran through the ring there to get them acquainted, and then back in the pens. And just to clarify or get his thoughts, I said, "Hey, that spot on the end is really good, right?" And he didn't even say anything; he just nodded his head, and I knew what he thought of that one. And it doesn't take long to study that one and know that that's breed champion quality, and maybe on from there. That's one really good one. This belted one comes in, and again, whenever he enters the ring, his stoutness of skull and chest and blade were the first thing that those judges are going to see, is going to grab a pin immediately. And then he's still a smooth pattern and one there that just reads, like Troy said, is a very feedable one from a phenotype perspective, and obviously for the way he's bred, built the way that Troy thinks they need to be.
Again, the spot would be 50. The crossbred male pig there would be 76.
We'll have a trio here and try to keep things organized again, different tag colors and associated colors there. But for everybody tuning in, the true belted one here is going to be a orange tag 36. The bigger blue pig is going to be yellow tag 56, and then the smaller blue male pig is tag 53.
Well, we saw a blue gilt earlier that I said would have been a glory days back on one of them Hilty Opens that we bought. That would be a no huddle, never before. She was our favorite and our pick of that particular sale there a couple seasons ago. Again, like many gilts, maybe had just a little rough time getting her going in terms of from a productivity perspective. But man, she's making up for it with this 163 litter. The pair of blues there again are out of her. They're glory days, and not just saying this because we raised him and he's a Cinderella daughter and so on and so forth, but I can promise you those glory days are just a little extra special in terms of hair, in terms of just having a bendy hind leg. They're set to their hip, and their range of motion is just extra special. Got a ton of faith in those glory days to feed. The little one there that Cade's on's maybe a little skinnier bellied today. I can promise you if you're going to Denver or Angelo or anywhere that's got a blue division, or honestly even if there's not a blue division, I like that pig a good deal. His mate's maybe a little more out there in terms of just rib and flesh and bulk today, maybe out of his cute stage, but I think again a very good feeding pig. The one there that Mr. Platt is on is another one of those 167s. So those of you guys following along, that would be a mate to our leadoff that we'll see here in just a bit, as well as a couple pigs we already saw. Again, sounds like a broken record, but those Hilty sows have done a very good job for us. That would be a backdrop never before that would have originated there in Pennsylvania. That pig, I'll let Kelton kind of tell you his thoughts, but to me that pig of our set may be the best in terms of just combining some shortness of back with just an absolute wild look up front. Again, a canoe boar or out of canoe, I can't say enough about what that boar I think is going to do moving forward, without a doubt. One there that we're going to go back and use very hard.
Yeah, again, a really interesting trio here, and just to start with the blues, like I said, we've kind of introduced or allowed to separate the blues, or that's pretty much the trend that we've had, and I've said it in shows that I've judged there. Originally it was so that they had kind of a fighting chance, and now that we've gotten these things this good, it doesn't matter if there's a blue division or not. These things are going to be extremely competitive here, and at the same token, whenever we do get them separated, they've got just a special look about them. Again, that little guy maybe just a nickel greener bodied, as Troy says, but in terms of just one of my top sale highlights or picks that we have, he's definitely on the short list there. He's probably as hairy as any of them. He's as round bodied as any of them, and I absolutely love his arm shape and blade that he offers there. Again, the blue one's a little bit chubbier, a little bit more advanced, and still at the same time is comfortable there. Maybe just take him just a nickel slower than the other one on the feed bucket, but I think we could get along extremely good. Again, just kind of personal experience there. A couple years ago, I judged a Breeders' Cup there, and I could say that these would have slam dunked that deal. No offense to anybody that was there, but these will be very competitive. This 36 is extremely high, and on my list. And again, he said unique in terms of his proportionality and combining a shortness of back and length of front end. And we use proportions way too much these days in my mind, but this one is extremely unique in that regard. I think from his shoulder to his nose is the same length that it is from his shoulder to his hip. And at the same token, he's long out of his hip as well. His range of motion, flexibility. He's got the classic Sloan look up front for me, and I love his muscle texture. He's maybe not as rugged in his look as a couple of them when they come, but his toe spread and where he comes down to the surface is probably as big. That one's going to have a high ceiling there in the end. That's tag 36 again. The smaller blue is tag 55. The bigger blue is tag 56. Next up, another trio from Team Sloan. We've got a belted boar pig, orange tag 17. Yellow tag 30 is the other belted boar pig. And then a belted, you've noted here, paler skinned barrow is tag 80, blue tag 80.
We'll again have a trio here, and we could just start with the one there that Brantley's on. And honestly, that one's down the sale order just a bit, but I think one of the better feeding pigs that probably checks as many boxes as any. Maybe got a little hard on him just in terms of where he's at in the sale order. For those of you guys that are following along, I know some care, some don't, and I'm okay with that. His mom would actually be the same mother as Arrowhead, the $85,000 boar that we would have sold this spring that Upper Hand would have bought. Honestly, don't get too caught up in sale order. I know I've already said that. I think that's one of the bigger chested, just broader built pigs that still handles it very, very well. That sow line being a quite frankly never before. I don't know what else you want from a just feedability perspective. This one Kate is on is probably one of my personal favorites just in terms of checking boxes and doing so many things right. Again, the Trick Daddy thing's been very, very good for us. That would be another one of those. This 156 litter, again, I can't say enough about those. So those would be litter mates there. Awesome sow, I think moving forward. I mean, she is without a doubt going to be in the top 1% or 2%, 3%, whatever you want to say here at our particular place. And then you got 17, the one that Ashley's on. He's maybe not showing off as good. If you want to grab the bottle, maybe he'll drive just a little bit better, cooperate a little better. The group that was here last night, we had a good group of breeders and feeders, I guess, if you will, that I have a ton of respect for. They thought that pig was maybe as good as anything within the particular set, without a doubt. He's got the hair, he's got the bone, he's got the shortness of back, yet he's got a long hip. That particular sow would have been champion middleweight at Breeders' Cup there a couple seasons ago. Man, she's going to do an awesome job moving forward. I told Kelton earlier, maybe it was last night, I guess I've lost track, to get these better sows bred back for the Midwest, we pushed a lot of them up to this May group, and I hope from a quality perspective and a feedability and just depth perspective of our particular set, I hope that shows in this particular deal. I don't know where everybody's at in terms of that hog. Maybe he scares you, maybe he doesn't, but to win on the big stage, I think you need to feed a few like that. That's tag 17. I'll let Kelton kind of tell you the differences that he sees in this trio of male pigs, but I think there's something for everybody in the ring right now.
Yeah, we'll start with a pair of litter mates, and for our part of the world there, those are is traditionally Hampshire marked and Hampshire classifying that you can have, and obviously you'll scoot right in there. Again, kind of just decide which kinds you like the most, but both of those, as Troy said, are probably as complete, and I hate using that term because people start gravitating towards common, and that they're definitely not that, but they're really just no holes, fault-free kind of pigs there. The thin-belted one to me has just a little bit even a more elegant look up front, and probably just even that much more presence about his front end, and so flexible and good in his skeleton. For a pig there, like he said, a feedable pig, if we could just project him, if he could look just like that at 280 pounds, he's winning. And because there's just going to be those that fall out of bed from a feet and leg perspective, and then just aren't as good of him, to be quite honest. And then the wider belted one is maybe just that much stouter about his arm and his head, a little bit denser there. Probably take him just a nickel slower. If you had just a little bit later end point there, he would be my choice of that pair. He's driving right underneath me here, and he's maybe as broad backed as any of them that we've had running underneath. Good pair of Hampshire peering males there. That other one there, I thought Troy did a great job describing him. Again, I hate to just play my cards. I've got to be trying to buy this time too. He's my favorite pig in the sale. And I say that, I'm not going to try to take it away from the rest of them. I absolutely love him. I don't know if he's going to win in the end or not, but I love him today. And I would assume that he's got friends. He definitely has my attention for sure.
Again, that would have been 17, bear with me here, 17, 30, and 80. 17 would have been the orange tag. 30 would have been the yellow, 80 would have been the blue.
Another Team Sloan trio that we have, the bigger gilt, the bigger spot gilt there is tag 73. The next spot would be yellow tag 58, and then the belted crossbred gilt is blue tag 33.
We'll pair these spot gilts, and again, I don't know exactly where we're going to be from a spot gilt perspective in terms of the demand, but I know people are still looking for Phoenix gilts, San Antone, county shows, Houston, whatever it may be. I think these can go for a long time, but at the same time, I think they differ drastically just a bit, or drastically, I should say, in terms of type and kind. Cade's on the 22.7, so that would be another one of those stopwatches. Again, can't say enough about that particular sow. She'd be the mother of Celsius there at Platt's, as well as she herself would have been the 5th overall gilt there at Expo for the Copenhagen family a couple seasons ago. Again, I said it earlier, but I think we throw around the term a little loosely when we say big ring. But if you look at that gilt, I think that's the first thing, or that's the first thing that comes to my mind anyway. Shoulder height, length, extension, lateness of maturity, length of hip, and just range of motion. Man, it looks like you could just put that one on a self-feeder and let her go. 20-4 there that Brantley's trying to gather up maybe isn't as cooperative, and I'll be honest, I don't think her picture probably does her justice, but without a doubt, one of the multi-purpose gilts, I think, of the spotted division in the Sloan lineup. She can go early, she can go often, but at the same time, I think going to make a good big one. Again, that would be out of the Geyer sow, or what we call the Geyer sow, that would originate from the Armstrong firm, and then she would be out of the very, very popular Big Daddy boar there that sold seasons ago. The belted gilt, I guess we haven't talked about, and I know this deal can get repetitive, and for those of you guys tuning in online, it probably sounds like a broken record. Screwed up sale order probably just a bit. There's some people ringside that I think that's the best gilt in our particular set. Her mom would have been what we call the Boble sow. I think we bought her at perfect timing a couple seasons ago for like $25,000. Again, these testifies, guys. I'm not here to tell anybody their breeding decisions. They are feeding very, very well for Midwest State Fairs. We are very, very excited about the ones that we have in this particular sale. Without a doubt, one of the better, bigger ones, or some of the better, bigger ones that we have going to Midwest State Fairs. I like that gilt a lot. And if you guys are ready to go to a show next week, she's ready. But at the same time, I think her range of motion, pastern strength, and just lateness of maturity up through her front 1/3 is very, very unique. Again, the belted gilt there is a sale highlight. That would be tag 33.
Yeah, I definitely pay attention and listen to what Troy has to say on those spotted ones there from a feedability perspective. Obviously a breed that I probably haven't followed quite as much, but you can tell that these offer the same pattern and look and muscle texture of the other ones that he was high on. And again, just put the very best ones in the sale. They look like ones to me that are truly that big, good big ones, and look like they need to have a little bit of time on feed. We're not showing them next weekend and winning whatever prospect show we're going to, but you give them a month and you're going to absolutely love those pair of spotted ones wherever your destination is. I remember the Armstrong sow, and she was phenomenally good. This belted one, like you said, very, very high on my list, so it doesn't matter where we're at on sell order. He said that I guess y'all bought him for like $25,000 there at PT. If the show pig market is as strong as it has been the last couple years, she shows up at PT, she's going to start at 25. I can just tell you that she's just that good. I think Blake even made the comment last night there this year that could be $100,000 gilt come October at that same sale. So that's what we think of that gilt phenotypically. Troy talked about her on the south side, and then those testifies in the way that they need to be built. But that one is so dense and so good in terms of her feet and legs. Absolutely love her look and presence, and I mean, she's as good as you could make. Next up, we've got a pair of crossbreds. We've got a boar pig that will be orange tag 32, and then a broken belted barrow that will be tag 31. Yellow tag 31 is the barrow.
The pig Ashley's on there would be a 162 litter, and we don't have a ton out of that particular litter, unfortunately, just due to some health reasons. But I think without a doubt, one of the neater pigs in our particular set, just in terms of natural spread and thickness. And I know a lot of breeders have already hit on it, but muscle is one of those things anymore. I think maybe we overlook because they got to have it. And honestly, if they have it young and keep it, I think that's a heck of a lot better than having to try to throw it at it. That sow line's been very good. The King of the Hill Juggernaut sow has been just awesome, I think, in terms of feedability. Again, Kelton will hit on this, I'm sure, but another one there I don't think just needs to throw the feed bucket at him, but at the same time, I think where he's good, he's as good as anything within the set. Unfortunately, 31's kind of a hammerhead, and he doesn't like to show off, but I think without a doubt, a sale highlight there. That pig is another Glory Days, and we've hit on those Glory Days several times already. They've got that hair, they've got that bend, they've got that length of body, they've got that skull that pig has. Again, another sow there he's got our best, maybe one of our best pigs going to a Midwest State Fair, and I think has a very, very bright future here in a couple weeks. I guess we'll see. But that sow is quite frankly King of the Hill. So again, from a sow perspective, pedigree perspective, I don't know if you could ask for much more just in terms of predictability and pigs that have extras. We'll let Kelton kind of tell you the differences here, but a pair I think that offer just a shot more extras maybe than a couple of the others in the particular set.
Yeah, exactly, Troy. I thought these last night were probably as broad and bulky and dense as any of them there. I remember making the comment to Cody whenever this wide-belted one came in, that is one monster back. And all of us that are feeding and fitting and getting them ready at a market show, and I guess for us in particular, I just can't get them. Or it seems like we focus on back shape and getting their loin edge and getting them right up top as much as we do anything else at that particular point. If it's in them as true as that one is, you're not going to have that worry there coming to the end. Like Troy said, I think both of these read as ones that you need to take slow and maybe not give just a whole lot of food all the way through, and kind of low maintenance ones because they are dense and bulky and stout, and everybody has the different kinds that they like. Personally, I've probably got as good in the long haul of taking those that are built like this, keeping them around for just a minute, keeping them lean and keeping them looking right, and them being that much stouter and broader than the ones there at the end. So again, we've got an off-belted one there on the far side. We've got him listed as a barrow. He's a crypt there. He's not fixed though, is he? Okay, so that's a crypt orchid there on tag 31, the off-belted one, and then the big-backed wide-belted one would be tag 32. Next up, another pair of crossbred male pigs here. We've got orange tag 38. He's the louder marked one there that Ashley's got. And then yellow tag 79 is the belted one that Kate's driving.
Well, again, probably everybody's tired of us talking. We'll try to keep short and sweet. The 159 would be another one of those trick daddies on that good sow that we've already talked about in terms of what she's done. I think, again, another very, very good feeding pig. I told Kelton last night, I don't know if some of these come with just as many wild, high-dollar pieces, I guess, if you will. But at the same time, if you're talking about hogs that feed and have a long-term window, I like that guy a good deal. That'd be the orange tag pig there that Ashley's on. The other pig, again, probably got a little hard on sale order. He comes out of that same Hilty sow that would be a mate to all those other ones that we've talked about. He's a 167, so that'd be another one of those canoes. Again, we've talked about it a lot, and other breeders have too. I think that pig, or that boar, excuse me, is going to, man, he's going to do a good job moving forward, I think, and probably even see more sows this time, and you can talk to Travis about that. But, man, I think that boar is going to do a very good job. That'd be another one of those canoes on that Hilty sow. Tag 79. I think a good set of feeding pigs here, a good pair of feeding pigs.
Yeah, I read them the same way, but they are just a nickel different. The belted one here to me is just a little bit shorter and boxier maybe in comparison there, but like we said, those canoes have been awesome, and that's one of the ones that we grabbed back out again last night after he entered the ring. Again, we've said it 100 times. I hate to keep going, and Troy said it there, but if that was the leadoff pig, nobody would argue. Then we've got the loud marked one there. Again, one of those that looks like a very feedable pig. Obviously, his color is extremely attractive, but more importantly, he's crisp about his edge. He may be as long-hipped and as loose-hinged out of his hip and his rear leg as any of them that we have to offer here. And again, I think as a big pig, could be one of those that is just sounder, square, better looking, and better built than most of them at that point. Again, that one, the loud marked one was tag 38, and then the belted one was tag 79. Next up, we've got another pair here of boar pigs, belted boar pigs. We've got Sloan's lead off, tag number 1, and then yellow tag 77.
We've talked about that 167 litter, and obviously you guys know the pedigrees and know my opinion on that particular litter, but a very, very good deep litter. And again, we've culled hard. I think we're offering 5 of them, and here, if we're offering 5 pigs out of a litter, that means something. And I know maybe that's changed over the years, but again, here that means something. That's lot 1, and I'll let you guys kind of tell you, get your own opinion. Without a doubt, the highest ceiling pig that we're offering, in my opinion, in terms of bone, in terms of hair. Again, Kelton said it earlier, we use the word in term proportions probably just a little loosely. In today's show ring setting, that pig's proportions are just absolutely incredible. We like him a good deal. If you don't like him, I guess we'll agree to disagree. The mate here that I guess I call, or not a mate, excuse me, the pin mate or the other pig out here would be 77. He's obviously not lot 1. I'm not going to tell you he's in the same category, but without a doubt, maybe a sleeper of the group that if you're working with a budget, I think that pig's a little bit skinnier and yet has the same kind of build and proportions from the side as lot 1. He's a wide awake, and obviously that boar needs no introduction. The front 3/4 of that pig is very, very good in my opinion. If he comes with some stoutness from behind, like most of the wide awakes have, man, that could be the buy of the sale, I think, moving forward. Is he ready today? Absolutely not. I'll let Kelton kind of tell you the differences that I see here, but again, we moved to a lot of these better sows towards the May group, and I know it sounds crazy to say you fared your best sows in May. At the end of the day, guys, I don't think we can get them too old anymore, particularly with the job that you feeders and guys are doing around the country in terms of holding them together and keeping them fresh. I like this pair a good deal.
Yeah, I was looking back here on my notes, and I just do an awful job of looking at pedigrees and ear notches whenever pigs are in the ring, and I was excited to be able to, when Troy asked me to do this, it is about the same way as when I take shows to judge, as I get a front row seat and get to be right there in the mix of them, and we started studying this lot 1 last night, and like I said, I was looking back. Actually, the one that we talked about being so neat in his proportions was a littermate, and so that's pretty true in there, and I didn't realize that until we kind of go through. But again, that's a very, very neat individual that isn't juiced up and ready today. Looks like to me he makes a great, great big one. Not frame size, but a great quality one there for sure, and it can be around forever. Again, those extras. That one's probably got the hairiest back leg that we've seen come in too. Then we've got the one that Ashley's on, and yeah, a little bit greener from behind, and maybe just not quite as stout in that one view. But coming at you, he's probably as broad-chested as any of them. He's got a big back there as well, and again, one of those that might get lost in the shuffle, particularly overshadowed by his pin mate. But he's one of those that I think will hold together and still be big-backed, and again, a really good feeding window there.
Well, thanks, Kelton. Again, lot 1, there's the orange tag, the yellow tag, the little skinnier pin mate there would be tag 77.
Next up, a pair of gilts here. We've got orange tag 61 and then yellow tag 34. There, again, a pair of belted gilts from Team Sloan.
Well, again, I don't know where we're going to be from a gilt perspective, but I told the crew there a few weeks ago we weren't going to worry about counting barrows and counting gilts or purebreds, crossbreds, whatever it may be. We're going to cull hard and we're going to cull often, and that's what we did. And ultimately, we were left with maybe a few more gilts than maybe I'd consider ideal. Good pigs, though, sell well, and we like to sell pigs high as we can, I guess, if we're just being honest, to get some bills paid and move forward. This pair differs just a bit on maybe where they're at from a bulk perspective, and I'll let Kelton tell you the differences that he sees, but at the same time, their length of body, their proportionality, and just their silhouette from the side, I think scream high quality. This 34 yellow tag is a 161. Again, her mom would be one of our absolute best young sows. She is a quite frankly king of the hill. Cade would actually showed that king of the hill sow there a couple seasons ago, and she won our state fair, a sow that maybe didn't generate as many winners as some, but at the same time the daughters she laid in have been just absolutely incredible. Again, one of our best Midwest State Fair pigs comes out of that particular sow's first litter. That tag 34 gets me absolutely fired up. I think checks a ton of boxes and just is an absolute creature in terms of her silhouette from the side. As much as I like her, that orange tag is one that kind of gets me fired up. I think for one that's a little skinnier in her forerib and body shape, maybe offers as much foot size and just stoutness of feature in that regard, pound for pound as maybe anything in the particular set. That gilt would actually be out of New Heights, and we talked a little bit earlier amongst the group and Travis and some other breeders. These New Heights guys, not just because we raised him and because he's out of a Cinderella or he's out of Cinderella, they're going to be very, very good. The pigs in our nursery out of New Heights absolutely stick out like a sore thumb. There's no doubt in my mind that one's going to sneak up on us. Long-term speaking, I like that one a good deal.
Obviously, you can tell the excitement in Troy's voice whenever these two come, and he described them incredibly well. And that one up front, the smaller one there that Cade's got on the stick now, is obviously one that I think if you did drop her in the show ring this weekend, she'd win. And yet at the same time, she looks like she'll be one that can win in the end too. Again, her blade shape and forearm shape and just comfort level, how square she is at the surface, and her boxy build combined with that elegant look. I mean, she's phenomenally good. And then at the same time, that 61 was one again that I went back and popped up again. I actually came and asked what New Heights is again. I'm all full on pedigrees and had to ask exactly what he was, and took note. When that one softens and when that one's blade relaxes just a shot, there she is going to be absolutely a handful in the show ring, and then I think we'll make a phenomenal sow. Very, very good pair here.
Well, again, I know everybody's a broken record and we talk too much and it can get just a little overwhelming, but much like Kelton, and maybe since we've gotten just a few more sows than maybe we need, I guess just to talk a little bit more about pedigree, that particular gilt, for those of you guys maybe looking for a story, that particular gilt is a New Heights back on Past the Hat's littermate's sister. So I guess I kind of forgot that kind of important note there, but so that comes with some neat kind of stuff there to talk about. Again, I got a little long-winded there, but a pair of gilts we like.
Two more gilts enter the ring here from Team Sloan, and we have an off-belted one that's an orange tag number 18, and then a traditional belted one, tag number 74.
Well, I've talked about that quite frankly, King of the Hill sow, probably enough, and everybody's getting tired of it. This particular orange tag 18, guys, I'm not going to tell you she's the best one. I'm not going to tell you she's my favorite, but of our particular gilts, that one might be the most unique in my opinion. I was talking to my good buddy, cattle buddy Willie Weiss from Iowa there the other day, and he said, hey, which some of the better gilts? And I said, I don't know if this is the best show gilt. That looks like a donor cow to me, though, in terms of skull, in terms of tail root, her hair, her bend, her flex, her reach. Again, I don't know where she ranks on everybody's list. She's just weird looking to me, in my opinion, in a good way. I like that one a good deal. 74 is certainly no slouch. She's the more traditionally belted one. Again, another canoe gilt there. Her mom would be a young sow that actually would have been the champion overall there that Laney would have showed at Breeders' Cup a couple seasons ago when Kelton judged. And, man, I think moving forward, she's going to do a very, very good job. Again, much like some of them gilts, maybe got off to a little bit slower start just in terms of litter size and fought some health and stuff. We're going to see a mate to her here in just a bit, a barra or a boar pig, if you will, that I think is going to be very, very well received and popular. That's the 155 litter, so that would be Canoe, No Stranger, back on a king size, and that king size sow was very, very neat. Again, these two don't need to show in a pair or a pen of two at a county fair in Iowa by any means, but at the same time, I think both offer some neat kind of pieces to talk about and gravitate to.
Yeah, again, what Troy said on this this chromed up one yesterday, I had to study just a little bit harder when she came in, but because she is assembled just a little bit different than some of them, but she still has so much quality about her. But what's different is how broad she is between her eyes and just how stout she is about her skull, and yet at the same time, I see that one very, very comfortable. That one looks like a sow to me, and I guess just one of those that could be around for a while and progress a program extremely well, but I think she still gets along there in terms of the show ring. I remember the gilt that the belted one's out of, that won Breeders' Cup, and honestly, that day maybe hit me as hard as any of them that I had personally judged, and probably won as quickly as any of them. And this one has a lot of the similar qualities, head shape, and even her ears design whenever she throws her head up has a unique quality about it. She's the right length of body, right depth of body, and the right body shape, I think, to win in the show ring. But again, obviously a mother there that was extremely good to look at, but has made a generator as well. Okay, again, the traditional belted one that we just talked was yellow tag 74. The off-belted one was tag number 18. The next pair is another pair of gilts here. We've got orange tag 35, kind of the louder marked one here, and then yellow tag 12 will be the thin belted, traditionally belted one here from Team Sloan.
Again, 35 and 12, and actually a pair of these that, we talked a lot about these pairs that we ran out here maybe differing just a bit. I don't know if you can make two littermates look more similar, and I know they maybe differ just a bit in where they're at from a sale order perspective. I don't know which one's better. I guess I thought 12 was maybe better at the time when we made the sale order, but anybody that knows me knows I'm not just super good when it comes to that. Again, a pair of these 159s, and I can't say enough about the 159 litter in terms of just their feedability, in terms of the way that they're constructed from a build perspective. Our good buddy Josh Powell would have had this gilt on feed and showed her at a county there in Texas a couple seasons ago. She would have been a no intro back on the sow we call Raven. That would have been a lock it up. Anybody that's followed our pedigree knows how influential that sow was, not only at making winners for the long haul too. I mean, man, we kept her around. She's still around actually, and has done a very, very good job for us. But more importantly, the daughters have been just incredible. I know Josh always asked, hey, he actually had a pair of those that summer or that fall, winter, or whatever it would have been, and always ask how they did. This particular sow would have had the third overall barrow there. The Goss crew would have had a season ago there at Missouri, and a barrow that just, man, when it was time to turn it on and do a good job, he did the right things. I know everyone's got their opinion on the no intros, maybe just not as hairy as some would like when push come to shove on the big ring. These have the hair. I can promise you the grandmother's coming through in that particular setting because she had as much hair and was ahead of her time in that category as any. These got the long hips, they got the bendy hind legs, they got the future that I think everybody's after. I don't know where we're at from a show perspective, where we're going to be, but at the same time, like I've said so many times today, there's not many of them that we just look at, and Kelton could attest to this, I'm going to guess, that we just say, man, they're too old. And I think whether you're going to OIE or wherever you want to go, January through March or maybe even later as far as that concerned, this looks like a pair that would be very fun to look at every day in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, last night I thought 12 was the better one, and today I like 35. And so I think that's how close they are, and decide which way you want to feed. The chromed up one there that Cade has is probably just a little crisper and neater, and probably even that much more expressive. The belted one here, or the more thin belted one on this side here, is a little softer bodied and maybe just a little bit looser out of in terms of way her muscle lays on her body there as well. But both have great presence, and it's interesting that Troy says that about we can't get too old, and I guess I've kind of decided that pigs show age just differently than the other species, and the place that I've seen is probably here lately crest and feet, and these, as old as they get, their feet are going to still read immature enough, or not just they're not going to flatten, and they're not going to show their age in that regard. They're still going to be clean chested, they're going to be crisp shaped. And like you said, they're long hipped and they're square going, they're square coming, and ones that I think again you get to choose here later on tonight which one you like the best. But both of them are going to be extremely competitive, make awesome sows as well. we're kind of rounding down and going. That was tag 12 and tag 35, but definitely don't lose focus here. We've got one of my favorite males entering the ring, and that's going to be tag number 16, orange tag 16, belted boar pig, and then the socked boar pig is yellow tag 51.
Well, we can start with the socked pig, and that would be another one of those 154 litters. That's out of the same sow as that popular gilt we would have saw earlier. And good buddy Boble just texted me and said, "Man, that litter out of our sow looks very good." And he's not just saying that, or maybe he is. Maybe he's just making me try to feel good. But we do like that 154 litter very well. Again, I don't know where everybody's at in terms of color. I can promise you, though, I've judged a handful of them over the last few years. Good pigs beat bad pigs, and that's a good pig in my opinion. The Testify thing has been very, very good. I think that pig's going to feed very well. That is tag 51 yellow there that Ashley's on. Again, another power hog that still has probably as much bend, flex, and reach as any. Kelton likes this one, and I knew he would, and maybe that sounds weird, but he's a very hittable kind of guy in terms of type and kind. When they got that kind of length of body, pin set, spread, and just squareness from behind, and alpha a neat kind of look up front, they're awfully hard to ignore, regardless of breeder, regardless of breed and sex. We like that pig a good deal. And I don't know where everybody's at in terms of sale order, but we had him towards maybe the front side of that particular thing. Again, he would be out of that gilt that Laney would have showed at Breeders' Cup. That was one of our favorite ones there that particular season that would have been champion overall when Kelton judged. I'll let Kelton kind of tell you the differences that he sees, but we like this pair and maybe for different reasons here, a pair of male pigs.
Yeah, starting with the black one here, and I looked back, and they weren't mates, but there was another black one earlier that resembled this one in terms of just density and bulk, and one of those that reads as a big pig that'll be massive and still flexible, and like Troy said, I think we're over that black pigs can't win deal, and I honestly, I tell everybody at home and when we're selecting them, the only time they're unfavorable is actually at pig sales these days, and those black ones have gotten along extremely well, and for you black haters, he's got just a little bit of white there on his feet there as well, but that's a good pig. He's going to be a good feedable one there. I already told you one of my favorite ones is 16. It kind of made me excited last night that he was out of that gilt there that I judged there before, and that one resembles that sow to me extremely closely. Head shape, ear shape, the correct length of body, it comes at you so true and genuine. That one reads it to me. Blake and I discussed him last night. Again, everybody feeds the way they want to. There's some very, very talented feeders out there. That's not one that you need to get home and just smash on and go to Phoenix with. That's to me, that's one that could definitely be around in February to me, and at the same time, he can make Denver and still be big enough to win. That's a phenomenal animal, obviously on my short list.
Again, tag 16 is the belted male pig. Tag 51 was the mostly black boar pig there. So both boar pigs there, 16, excuse me, and 51.
Two more males from Team Sloan here. We've got orange tag 39, which is the socked pig, and then the loud marked chromed up one here is going to be yellow tag 40.
Well, again, we'll start with the yellow tag there, the really loud colored one, and I know not everybody selects on color, but Kelton's mentioned it a couple times, and he's judged more than anybody. When they come in the ring and they're loud marked, it just grabs your attention. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't care your level of intelligence, color's still very hard to ignore, and he comes with a very, very neat, descriptive kind of color pattern. And then we talk about a pedigree perspective. We've talked about those 161s and that particular sow a lot today, and I know it sounds repetitive, but that sow is going to do a very, very good job. She would be a quite frankly king of the hill. I know we've seen some mates that I think everybody's kind of liked or gravitated to, if I can read the room right anyway. That one comes in and he's got the same hair, the same bendy hind leg. The glory days have the length of body and the proportionality that we're all after. That one's one that I think could certainly sneak up on a guy. Probably was limited a little bit last night in terms of pig food. We gave him just a little extra this morning, and he's filled up nicely. I think a pig that comes out here, and I'm not saying he needs to be first on your list, but I think he needs to be somewhere on your list. And as much as that pig needs to be somewhere on your list, I actually think this socked pig is the same kind of song and dance. Maybe as good in terms of just foot quality, pastern strength, and just proportionality. He's another one of those 156s, again, Trick Daddy. Man, I can't say enough about those pigs and the good that they've had here. Man, they sold well for us this this spring, and more importantly, I think we got him in even better sows this time. Again, another pig there. I'm not going to tell you he's going to be the high seller tonight because he's not going to be, but he needs to be somewhere on your list, in my opinion. A good pair here. Let Kelton tell you the differences that he sees.
You know, I think obviously we're at a live pig sale, and they've got to have a little bit of extras and pizzazz and grab you there. But pig sales as a whole have gotten a bad rap here lately because there's just not as many of them that turn out. And yet at the same time, I know through Troy's and the guys here, their culling process and mindset there was make sure that we get the ones that can feed. And this pair right here just read as feedable pigs. And in a day and a time when there's not much predictability, to me these don't have much that we have to worry about through the feeding period. They're square built, their body shape's right, their muscle texture's right. They read as ones that are stout enough, and yet at the same time they're clean jointed, and like Troy said, foot quality is incredibly good on both of them here. That chromed up one is going to be one of the stouter ones in the ring no matter where he shows. He's always going to read dense, he's always going to read stout, and not just there. When he goes away from it, he's very consistent in his column of bone, and one that I think will feed extremely good. The black one's a little bit thicker ended than the other one there, but still at the same time, muscle texture's right, and one again I think could feed very, very well. That one is tag 39, and then the chromed up one is tag 40. So we're concluding here with the final two lots from Team Sloan. We've got tag number 13, which is a boar pig, belted boar pig, and then the chromed up one that's going to enter the ring is yellow tag 41.
Well, these are our last two, and I know sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, and I hope the breeders and the guys tuning in didn't think we offered too many, because like I said, we culled hard and we got it down to 40, and I hope that the quality and depth speaks for itself, but at the same time, I guess to stick up for myself, we tried to put together a set, and honestly, when we first did this sale, I said, hey, we're just going to sell 20, and we just kept culling, and I felt like they were all worthy of being in this particular sale, regardless of how many we ended up with. We end with a pair here that, I think Kelton will agree, come with just a shot more size, a shot more flesh, a shot more rib, a shot more stoutness. For those of you guys wanting to show at maybe a little earlier show, whether it be Phoenix or Denver, I think these fit the bill very, very well. We'll start with the belted pig, certainly a sale highlight, and a tag number that I like a good deal, tag 13 orange there. His sow, or his mom, would be Chubbs' littermate sisters, kind of we refer to her. Chubbs would have been the Martin Barra that would have won Indiana actually there a few seasons ago when me and Kelton judged, and I'll let him tell you his thoughts. But still to this day, in my opinion, and I think he'll agree, one of the best Barras to ever walk the face of the earth, in my opinion. When we had a chance to buy a littermate sister, we gravitated to her and didn't think twice. He is out of the very, very popular Wide Awake. So from a pedigree perspective, Wide Awake on Chubbs' sister, I don't really know what more you want. That Goss Barra there, that particular summer, was one that will forever be in my head and hard to ignore. The other pig is another one of those 160s. Again, a Glory Days, and then his mom would be a Next Intention King of the Hill. So if you just talk about extras from a pedigree perspective, man, that pedigree reads with extra skull, extra hair, extra bone, and I think that's exactly what he has here. Again, another one that probably doesn't need fed hard. I'll let Kelton kind of tell you the differences here in this particular pair, but a pair that I think comes with the extras everybody's after to win on the big stage. Again, thank you guys all for tuning in. We've got Hilty left, and I can promise you if you guys are getting bored, you're not going to be when he runs his 4 in. Those things look like absolute zoo animals last night. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Please reach out to any of the breeders. Again, we'll let Kelton talk this pair. Thank you again.
Well, like I said, we ran through 2 pages here on Team Sloan, and at the same time, he ended with a pair that were very memorable for me last night. Again, they do have, for the guys tuning in, they're just a little bit heavier weight and have just a little more size than some of the ones that we've seen there. Again, start with the one that Cade's on here out of Chubbs' littermate. Another one that I got back out last night, but really didn't have to. It was just because I enjoyed looking at him. Again, kind of playing my hand and whatnot. I've got clients to buy things for and families that I'm looking for. My kids did not get drawn for Denver, but I promise you I would have done everything in my might to own that one right there. That's the kind that I get along with. I absolutely love that one in the end. The chromed up one there is maybe just a little bit more moderate than him, and even just broader skulled. Again, got the same quality in terms of body shape and softness. He's thick armed and got a great big rear leg. He needs to continue to hair up. He looks like he will with the shag that he's got on the backside of his rear limb, but at the same time, when that one does hair up, he's going to be stout and flexible. Again, has just a little bit of size if we're looking for for a little bit earlier window there, but at the same time, I think two awesome ones here to end on Team Sloan's lots, and we'll move into Hilty's. Again, the big one there, or the one that Kate is on, the more traditional belted one is tag 13, and then tag 41 is the yellow tag chromed up one. Again, we'll conclude here with Hilty's 2 lots or 4 lots, excuse me, and obviously a gentleman here that's been as competitive and at the forefront of almost every show across the country here lately, and has been for several years. Like Troy said, I thought these were incredible ones. Will came up. We were going to start actually the preview with them, and we're ending because he got here just a little bit after 10:30. But an awesome way to end. His leadoff is tag number 2. Orange tag number 2. There's a full belted boar pig, and then the half belted one is yellow tag 62.
Well, yeah, I was a little late getting here this morning, so I get to go ahead and wrap things up. I had the opportunity to sit and watch everybody else's stuff, and man, I think a real good set of pigs to kind of kick off sale season here this fall, summer, whatever you want to call it. And on our particular set of pigs, we actually brought 3 litter mates. Both of these are litter mates, and then you'll see the third litter mate in the next group, tag 2 and tag 62. The pedigree on these would be out for blood, stay classy. That stay classy sow would actually be Pace Car's mom. And then, you know, that sow, I guess I've got as much faith in as any sow on our farm in terms of just generating some bone and structure. We thought the lot 2, the lead off, was just impeccable in terms of his build, his hip, his hind leg, his look were all spot on. And then this other pig, he reminds me quite a bit, to be honest with you, of Pace Car's littermate brother that Josh Powell would have fed a couple years ago, was reserve division there at San Antonio. Kind of had a little different ear set to him, and this pig reminds me a lot of that pig, just not from an ear set standpoint, but real boxy, real heavy structured. And again, I got a lot of faith in that sow and think these things will feed.
Yeah, we obviously downsized just a little bit from a size perspective there, and it's crazy to think, like we talked about. I'm not going to talk about ages and where we fit in that perspective, or even the fact, like I said, I'm kind of wore out already that everybody says it's July and we're getting them, but that's where the time is here. And I will say that, or I lead into saying that we're in July at the first live pig sale there of this season, but you better remember these two, because I think they will feed extremely well. That lot 2 there was one of those that I didn't even have to mark or write down. I knew I was going to remember him, and he comes in and impresses me just as much today. The chromed up litter mate there, the off-belted litter mate, is probably even that much denser, that much stouter. I think he needs to be handled correctly, and when I say that, I wouldn't buy him and intend on getting him on the self-feeder and leaving him there for a while. I'd handle him in the right way, and that one will be dense and stout. I remember Powell's Barrow that year, and he does look a lot like that pig, and he was extremely popular and extremely good there at San Antonio. Again, lots 2 is Will's lead off, and then yellow tag 62 is the mate. Next in, we've got another litter mate, tag 20. Orange tag 20 is going to be the calico, and then yellow tag 42 is the blue barrow.
Yeah, we get, I told you I brought a trio of litter mates, and it's not often you'll go to a live pig sale and take a set of 4 pigs and take 3 litter mates. And but again, I told you guys how much I think about that sow, and the calico one, tag 20. We just looked at his 2 litter mate brothers. I think this one is the combination of the 2 belted ones. He's got the look and presence of tag 2, and then he's got the stoutness and feature of the other one we looked at. And right, wrong, or different. I heard the guys talk about it several times today. In today's day and age, I don't think it really matters what color they are. I think that's a good pig that's got a very high ceiling. The blue one would be tag 42. I'm in the wrong spot here because I was supposed to be first. Tag 42. Pedigree there would be blowing smoke, never before. This would be the first crop of these blowing smokes, and that's a boar I intend to go back and use pretty heavy. That's a really good never before sow. Actually raised the champion cross gilt there at Eastern Regional last year, and as Kelton just said, it's never the wrong time to put the right ones on feed. I think that pig could stretch for a long, long time and show in a blue division maybe somewhere and could be really, really good. So interesting to see Kelton's comments on this pair as well.
Well, you opened and closed the two things that I was actually going to say on this group last night. Obviously, the belted ones came in first, and then the calico came in. I said, well, there's the mash of the two minus the color. And I think his color is extremely attractive and actually extremely good there. I love that guy's presence. I love his hip and hind leg assembly. Again, that's one of those that I could see entering any of those shows and really, really being tough. I think that trio, you better study hard. And like Will said, it's not very often in the show pig world these days that you have three in one litter that merit going to a pig sale, and these all three did, and I think everybody may have a different opinion. I get sucked in just like everybody else looking at pictures on Facebook, and at the same time I always laugh that we're at a live pig sale and yet we go off of pictures a lot of times. But this blue one hit me extremely hard yesterday in the airport, and I was excited to see him. What caught me off guard there, and again just trying to make sure we fill in everybody, is he wasn't maybe quite as big as I thought he was in the picture. This one's got a lot of time left in him, and like Will said, for me, and again, you can go to any show, that pig's going to be competitive whether it's a blue division or not. But I can imagine that one entering the ring at Angelo with Mark Hogue judging, and things could get really, really fun. And at the same time, he could go anywhere. His look and presence. We've talked about the blowing smoke deal early. These are the first pigs I've actually seen live, and that deal's going to be around for a while for sure. And then obviously the out for blood on the calico deal is going to be very, very good. So awesome way to end right there with Hilty's two. The calico there is tag number 20, and then the blue is yellow tag number 42.
As we kind of wrap things up here, on behalf of myself and I'm sure the rest of the breeders and consigners, sure like to thank Team Sloan for hosting an event like this, and just an absolutely incredible facility. I'd encourage you, if you've thought about coming, you've never made the trip over to see it, it sure won't disappoint. But more importantly, the pigs and the people that stand behind them won't disappoint. So hats off to the Sloan crew for having us. As you scroll through the sale order there, something just a little different. You see lot 81 that's going to be consigned by Hilty, Sloan, and Keplinger. 2 doses of meant to be. Meant to be is actually a littermate to wake up call. He's a littermate to the door barrow, and that litter that's just cut an incredibly wide swath across the show pig world this summer. We were fortunate to kind of catch wind that boar was there, and Troy and I met at Seth's house and got a deal put together and got him bought. These are the only couple doses that we're planning to sell, because honestly, between the 3 firms, there's probably 400 plus crossbred sows, and with the consistency of that litter and what this pig looks like, we plan on breeding a ton of sows to him. So a little unique tidbit there at the end, and even more importantly, as you go through that preview, I think a very, very good set of pigs that fits a very wide show window. I honestly do think there is something for everybody represented in that set of pigs. So any questions, reach out to the consigners. Look forward to visiting with people throughout the day, and hope you all tune in tonight.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to see those, and like we said, it's early, and I call this now it's going to be the kickoff of the season right here, and it was a great way to do it there, and definitely get in. It's not too early to start, and like Will said, it's always the right time to put the right ones on feed, and this looks like it's going to be. To kind of recap what the afternoon's going to look like for you guys there, there'll be a little happy hour hosting there at 4 p.m., but more importantly, at 5 p.m. we'll be back and running a Facebook Live, a live preview there at 5 p.m. If you want to go back and refresh, obviously you can go back and review this there as well. At 6:30 we'll have a dinner, and then the sale will kick off on cci.live for online bidding, but here at 7 p.m. There. KV is here and will invoice you guys. You can pay from that invoice, mail a check or whatnot that we have there, but make sure that we get that indicated there. But you will be invoiced after the sale there from KV, so be watching for that there on the cci.live side of things there. And then obviously, as any time, delivery is extremely important. Make sure that you notate that as you come in there and sign. We'll try to keep that up to date as the sale continues to go through there. There will be trailers leaving tonight. There will be trailers leaving tomorrow, heading down to the Panhandle there in Texas. Delivery points along the way. Basically, don't let delivery hold you back, because we'll be all across there. Blake's headed back east here, or I guess northeast, east, northeast, wherever we're at in the country there tonight or in the morning. So make sure we get with them. Reach out. Great sale offering. Incredible list of breeders that brought their very, very best to kick off the season and kind of set a precedence here. And again, if you've got any questions, delivery or any questions on the pigs, make sure you reach out this afternoon. And again, I appreciate everybody, or we all appreciate everybody for tuning in. Incredible event, incredible facility, and can't say enough to Team Sloan and their crew.